This week on the Retirement Quick Tips podcast, I'm sharing with you 40 life lessons I've learned in my 40 years. Today, I want to talk about parenting. That's probably one of the things that I struggle with the most. And I feel like I just don't know what the right thing to do is. And I have that thought, I don't know, like 100 times a day. So parenting is interesting. Everybody has their own methods and styles and beliefs when it comes to parenting. But here are a few things that I've learned from the 10 and a half years and 4 children over that time period. Number one, having one more child, if you can. Obviously, there's lots of people who struggle with this. Having one more child is always worth it. Are there challenges? Yes, plenty of them. But the love and joy of having a child is unmatched. And watching them develop and grow is, I'm getting emotional just thinking about this. But it's so amazing just how your love is never divided. It always expands for those additional children. Now that I'm 40, I hope that I'm done. But, sometimes I saw a newborn the other day and I was like, oh, I actually cannot go up to like very small babies. If I hold one, it's like game over because I'm going to walk right over to my husband and be like, you know what, let's have another one. I have to remind myself of the pain of pregnancy and childbirth, and the newborn stage is so difficult. No sleep for a year. Your body's all out of whack for like 2 years between pregnancy and breastfeeding and all that stuff. And it's like, no, I can't do that. And one more is always worth it. Trust me. Most of you, though, are past your baby making days, so that doesn't necessarily apply. But I just found it an unexpected thing. Having 4 children is a lot of work, especially in the younger years. I think it'll still be just as hard as they get older, but it's different. It's so much fun. And I just love my children more than I thought that I could ever love another person. And that's multiplied by 4. The second one is I often feel like a terrible mother and that I'm going to mess my kids up. Like they're going to be in therapy solely because of me, or they're going to turn out to just be awful people due to the many mistakes that I have made and will continue to make. But I think there's some pride in that. Actually, we can steer our children and guide them and direct them and discipline them and teach them things, but they aren't like our little pieces of clay to mold however we want them. And so how they turn out, you have influence over that. But I have to remind myself that all I can do is the best that I possibly can. And we all have our blind spots. We all have our failures as parents, but we can't get too bogged down in taking blame if they're not acting the way we expect them to, if they make their own mistakes, because it's like, hello, we make our own mistakes and plenty of them too. So I try to give myself a little bit more grace. And I think it's actually a good sign that I feel this way. Like I feel like a terrible mother because I think it's precisely that I feel that I'm a bad mother, that maybe I'm not such a bad mother after all, if that makes sense. Like I know I could do better. I try to be better. I try to learn as best I can from my mistakes, but it's always a work in progress. The third one, I've been thinking about this a lot recently, is that I think God made me a tomboy so that I could survive as a mom to 3 boys. My 7-year-old is a super athletic kid. Like he loves sports. Aside from video games, playing it on his iPad and playing sports and like doing physical things, he's not really interested in much else. Like he loves video games. We actually bond over, there's a basketball, like an NBA 2K24, some NBA game that we play on the PlayStation together. I have so much fun with him. We literally trash talk him while I'm playing against him, like, oh, brick. And he's got mad at me a couple times. And I'm like, oh, sorry, I'll have to dial it back. But it's like he trash talks too. You think you're going to dish it out and you're not going to get it back? Think again, buddy. And then we'll go to the gym and shoot hoops. And I mentioned in one of the earlier episodes this week, like basketball was my main sport for many, many years, like 12 years growing up. But I'm terrible now because I've barely touched a basketball. But it's fun. I like shooting, and we'll play 1v1, and I try not to go too light on him, but usually I win. He doesn't like that either. I cannot braid my daughter's hair to save my life, but I can golf, I can chew gum, and I can talk stocks with anybody all at the same time, which clearly indicates that I'm a tomboy. I didn't like anything girly. The only girly thing I liked growing up was Barbies. Everything else, it was like sports. Now with finance and interested in investing in the markets, like it's a very, I would say, masculine interest. That there's a reason why there's hardly any women in finance to begin with. And I think it's just not something that appeals to most women. Definitely one of the reasons. So, but it appeals to me. I like it. I also like sports quite a bit. So I think it helps me to really understand my boys and let them be boys. They're very rambunctious. They like to wrestle. My 4-year-old and my 7-year-old play this game they made up called Hulks, which is basically them wrestling and hitting each other. And I think if I wasn't a tomboy, I'd be like, stop that. You're going to get hurt. And I'm like, get him, Theodore. Get him. Tackle him. Pin him. Yeah. Until they get hurt. So they play the game pretty much every day after school. We have this kind of large spot in their playroom that I've cleared out. So it's like their wrestling ring. And they play it every day until somebody gets hurt. And thankfully, I haven't gone to the hospital yet. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Ashley Mitchike, and this is the Retirement Quick Tips Podcast.